What is possibly the best streaming and podcast mic you can get for under $100? Only you can decide that. However, if you're streaming or podcasting in an environment that's not acoustically treated, I would highly recommend a dynamic mic rather than a condenser mic. Welcome to my channel, my name's Dan, and today we're going to be looking at the Podcast Pro from Sontronics. Just to clarify, I'm not sponsored in any way. I just like to share what I consider to be a great sounding mic for all you streamers out there that don't want to break the bank by purchasing a $400 mic when a $100 one will do the same job for you. So, Sontronics say that the Podcast Pro has a hotter and clearer signal than any of the others on the market, and I'm really eager to put this to the test. There are a million mics out there to choose from, so I've chosen another two popular podcast mics around the same price point just to compare the sound of all three microphones. So that leads me on to the two comparisons I've gone for. They are the Blue Yeti, which is a condenser mic, and the Rode Podmic, which, like the Podcast Pro, is another dynamic microphone. Mic placement is really important, so to isolate my voice I need to be in close proximity to all these mics, and to make it a fair test I'm running the Podcast Pro and the Podmic into a MixPre 2 from Sound Devices. The MixPre has amazing XLR preamps, and more importantly they give me a very transparent signal. Obviously, being a USB mic, I can't do that with the Yeti, so already the mic has a slight disadvantage straight off the bat. But anyway, let's put these bad boys to the test. Okay, so this is the Rode Podmic. I've got the gain set to 60 at the moment. I'm quite close proximity to it, probably that much from my mouth. I'll just do a quick keyboard check. I'm hitting the keys quite loudly. See if you can pick that up. And clicking the mouse. And I've got my PC on at the moment. Let's see if you can hear the fans. And yeah, this is the Rode Podmic. Okay, and now we're on the Sontronics Podcaster Pro, and the signal is coming a hell of a lot hotter than the Rode Podmic. So I'm just going to turn it down a little bit. Okay, now it was on 60, but now I'll put it down to 50. Yeah, I'm just going to do a keyboard check. I'm hitting the keys quite loudly there, and the mouse click. And if I stay quiet to hear the fan noise of my PC. And yeah, so this is the Sontronics Podcaster Pro. So this is the Blue Yeti. I've got the polar pattern set to cardioid, so it's picking up front and not to the sides. You can see that the polar pattern is just on the front. I'm just going to do a keyboard check. Hitting it pretty hard like the others. And mouse check. And if you can hear my PC fan noise. So yeah, it's a lot more sensitive because this is a condenser mic as opposed to the other two. The other two are dynamic mics. So yeah, this is the Blue Yeti. Now the good and bad thing about condenser mics is that they are very, very sensitive microphones. So it's going to pick up a lot of background noise and room reverb. If you have a room acoustically treated, good for you, you don't have to worry about it. But the majority of people streaming or podcasting don't have that luxury, and that's why I would steer more towards a dynamic mic. A dynamic mic is amazing at isolating your voice and not picking up the room noise. I found the Rode Podmic very bright and tinny. Could I give the Podmic more presence by using a bit of EQ? Probably. Do I want to do that every time I'm streaming or podcasting? Not really. The Sontronics Podcast Pro, however, sounds awesome straight out of the box with no EQ. It definitely has a hotter signal and it's very clear to me. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Next, we're going to have a look at the build quality, and straight off the bat, I love how the Podcast Pro looks. I love the red. It's quite light, it's very lightweight, which is great, as opposed to the Podmic from Rode. It's quite heavy, and I feel that it's probably going to give me some issues if I put it on a lightweight stand, for example. I might have drooping issues, but still being able, the very similar design, but yeah, this one's very, very heavy. And then you've got the Blue Yeti, of course, which has got its own stand, and I don't think it's going to do well on any other mic stands. It has got a thread at the bottom there, so you can mount it to another mic stand, but I feel that you don't have as much maneuverability as the other two mics, because you are quite restricted. So you can probably have it upright, to the side, and upside down, I guess, but you can't angle it anywhere, which is yeah, not brilliant, but there you go. It's got a lifetime warranty on this, which is amazing. It's a British company, so if you have any issues, not that you will, it's kind of reassuring that you've got a lifetime warranty on that. I think the Rode, I'm not sure what the I remember the Rode tend to have a 10-year warranty. I'm not sure if they still do that. But yeah, I love the fact that this is a lifetime warranty. That's cool. I'm going to show you the audio quality from the camera audio now to give you a general idea of what this room sounds like. So if I stay quiet for a second, you'll hear. I got some guys working outside. I've got fan noises. It's not sounding that great, but when I switch over to the Podcast Pro, you can hear that it's now really focused on my vocals now. And very important if you have an untreated room to use the right mic for the right situation. And now this is the Rode Podmic. Let's just compare it to the audio from the camera. This is the camera audio. This is the sound of the room and all the noise and stuff that's going on outside. And then if we switch back to the Rode Podmic, this is the Podmic. Again, it sounds very concise, which is great. I think that you got more presence from the Podcaster Pro though. But again, this is not a bad sounding mic, but if I was to choose, I'm still steering towards the Podcast Pro from Sontronics. So this is the audio from the Blue Yeti right now, and if I flip over to the audio of the camera, this is the sound of the camera audio, and if I flip back over to the Blue Yeti, this is the sound of the Blue Yeti. Testing, 1, 2. Obviously, sound quality is the most important factor here, but, and this might not apply to people who are podcasting, I think it's kind of important to look kind of cool on screen too. I'm sorry, but this Rode Podcast Pro definitely looks the part above all the others. I know, looks aren't everything, but come on, it's Red.
It's so beautiful!
Marry this to a half-decent interface like the Steinberg UR22 or the Audient ID4 or even the Focusrite Solo, and you've got yourself a great streaming setup for under $250. You just saved yourself $500. You're welcome. Now go like this video and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.